Bienvenidos, cruisers, and welcome to Barcelona, Spain. So, you've docked, you've had a great experience, or you're about to have a great experience in Barcelona, and you're not sure how to get shipped to shore because most transatlantics and many Mediterranean cruises use Barcelona as their embarkation or debarkation port. Well, me and the first mate, we've been there several times and we are here to help you with all the logistics and information you need so you have a fantastic time in Barcelona. So grab your tapas and your sangria and let's show you around beautiful Barcelona. Let's start with some logistics that are always very important for every port that you visit. So, the currency in Barcelona is the euro, of course, because they are a part of the European Union. But as most places in the States or anywhere you travel in the world now, credit cards are widely acceptable. So, depending on what you want to do, you may not need cash on hand. The average summer temperatures, and that's most of the time when ships are in Barcelona, is 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I don't have the Celsius there, but most of my friends who work in Celsius would say it is hot. Um, so wear light clothing, but you're actually going to see pictures of later when we went transatlantic. It was a bit chilly. We didn't need our big coats, but we did need coats. So it depends a lot on the weather. I mean, what time of year you're visiting, but you really, if you're in one of the high season times, you definitely want to be ready for some warm weather. Immigration, when we have checked right now, there is no additional immigration for US citizens. Um, but the EU is moving to an electronic system just like the UK just transitioned to. So you always want to check the US State Department if you're a US citizen, or kind of the equivalent of whatever country that you reside in to see if you're required to have a visa or to do that electronic form. And the language. Well, of course, Spanish. I think everybody expects that. But in Spain, there's a second language that is also spoken quite frequent, and it is Catalan. And that is spoken by a part of the population. There's a big, long history behind it. I don't know all of it, but you might be aware that you might see words that don't look quite Spanish because check this out. Fun fact time. There are actually four official languages of Spain. And as you can see, there's Spanish and Catalan, which I just talked about. Euskera and Galician. I have never heard of those before. I checked with the first mate, he hadn't either, but you never know. But those are the official four languages of the country. Who knew? Hope you enjoyed that fun fact. As with many times when you are docking, it is important to which terminal are you docking at. This can make a big difference in your day. So in Barcelona, there are two main areas for cruise ships. It's the World Trade Center terminals or the Adosant. I'm really trying to work on my Spanish here. The Adosant terminals. And the tip, most of the larger ships are docked at the Adosant terminals. And what that means is the World Trade Center ones are very close to the main city, but the Adosant ones are much further away. So you're going to use some steps to get actually from the ship to the shore. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. And also stay all the way to the end because I have one bonus fact that is a little bit beyond just the port basics and how do you get off the ship. You can see here that it is a commercial port. So, like many ports, there are a few terminals that are dedicated to cruises, but it mostly is a commercial port. And you can see that from all the things behind me. So, just be ready for that. And if you're a fan of Cruise Sport Captain, you know I love a good map. I just want to give you some idea of what kind of distances we're talking about. So at the bottom is the World Trade Center terminals. And then the major things in Barcelona to see are on Las Ramblas, and then the Sagrada Familia up at the top. So you can walk it. You can see that it's a little less than 5K, which is 3 miles to those of us who use the English system. And it can take you a little over an hour if you were just straight walking. So you can see you're not talking a huge geographic area, but it depends on if you walk a lot whether it's you can do it on your feet or if you would like to use public transportation or some other way to get to the major attractions. So you have 3 ship to shore options. So if you are, the easiest thing to do is always to take a taxi or ride sharing. They do have Uber in Spain as of this time. To give you some ideas of the pricing, approximately 10 to 15 euros to Las Ramblas or the Gothic Quarter. It's probably going to be a little bit more to go all the way to the Sagrada Familia. And then if you're going to the airport, like this is where you're disembarking, the latest was around 45 euros all the way to the airport. So if you're going to do the taxi, you want to use the official Yellow Barcelona taxis. They should take credit cards, but you always want to ask the driver. You don't always assume. I've always found like some taxis are ready to take credit cards and some of them aren't. And that is not exactly the taxi. That is just a graphic that I found. But I think most of us know what a taxi looks like. The second option is to use a shuttle bus that runs throughout the port, and it is the T3 shuttle bus. Again, this is not exactly the shuttle bus, but you get an idea. It's a pretty normal public transportation bus. It's going to be 3 to 4 euros each way. So you can do a round trip. So if you are maybe staying on the ship, we've done that. That was fantastic. And you need a round trip ticket. You can purchase that. You're going to buy this directly on board with the driver. The only thing that's a real challenge with this is it can be quite busy. Cruise ships are getting so large, and if there's more than one ship in a day, you're going to see, a lot of traffic, and you might have to wait a little bit longer than you were hoping for. And then, of course, the final option is you can walk. Now, you can know me and the first mate, we love to walk. So that is what we've done. I think both times we did it. Really, this one, though, depends on what terminal you're at. The World Trade Center terminal, that's only going to take you about 10 minutes. From the Odosan terminals, it's going to take you much longer. It's not a pretty trip. So you probably do want to take some other kind of transportation. Because the main goal really is to get you to the Columbus Monument. And once you're at the Columbus Monument, however you get there, then you can start more enjoying the day in Barcelona. So you can see me and the first mate successfully walked to the Columbus Monument. And I'm going to show you a different picture so you can really see what the monument looks like, what you're looking for in a second. But once you get to the Columbus Monument, if you want to take public transportations and you're used to metros, the Drasantes metro to the Green Line is going to take you to all the major attractions. Like other big cities, they are moving to apps. Oh gosh, everything's done on our phones now, right? That's such a difference from when I was a kid, and certainly different from when I first went to Barcelona. So it's the TMB app, and that's going to give you real-time information, and it'll help you get around and plan your trip. And behind me there, you see that is the Columbus Monument. So you can get an idea of what you're looking for. Columbus is way at the top. He's almost cut off on the picture. But that's really the main thing. And you see people on their little Saveways doing a little Saveway day tour, I'm supposing. So if you're getting to Barcelona and you're disembarking and you want to just enjoy the day there before you're heading to your either next destination or you're heading to the airport, you got to do something with your bags. We've done it several times where we've walked around with our luggage, and it's not pleasant, and it's so much easier now than it used to be to store your luggage and then have a great day. So I'm going to show you 2 great options. If you're staying in Barcelona, you more than likely can drop it off at your hotel. Just ask that check with the hotel early. I've worked in hotels for years at Disney World, and we were always happy to store people's bags. It might be, though, different, if you're like in an Airbnb or a smaller boutique hotel that they don't have front desk personnel there all the time. So just double check with that. So if you were going to do that, and if you have a lot of luggage, maybe you want to take a taxi to the hotel and drop your luggage off to start having a good day, or do some sightseeing. The second thing, and this is a newer development if you haven't traveled to Europe recently, is that there are a lot of small businesses that you can store your luggage at now. Craziest thing, we were skeptical of it, but we one time dropped them off at an Indian restaurant. Another time was a gift shop, and we used an app called Bounce, and there you upload Bounce onto your phone. You put where you are, and it'll pop up with all these answers of like where you can store your luggage. You make your reservation on the app, and you also pay for it on your app. So when you get to the place where you're going to store your luggage, they want the QR code from your reservation. They'll safely store your bags, and you just come pick them up. And that runs about between €5 to €7 a day per bag. It works extremely well, and it's a great, easy, safe, and economical way to just kind of get rid of your bags for a little bit. Once you drop off your bags, it's time to explore. The big thing in Barcelona is Les Ramblas. And what that is, if you don't know, because I didn't the first time I went, it's just a really long, lovely boulevard. And it is crosses 5 districts in the city. It's just a great day. And you see, we were on a transatlantic cruise for this. So I have a coat on because it was probably April-ish. Um, expect this to be busy. And we'll talk about a little bit of the elephant in the room. In recent years, there have been demonstrations against tourists in Barcelona because it can get so overcrowded and it's just hard for the local people. So, what I always say, and I have sympathy for that because I grew up in Orlando and we are definitely a hospitality city as well. So, our spring break, summer, the population here gets really busy and it's hard to get around. So, I have a lot of sympathy for that. So, what I always say in our philosophy too is just to be a good guest when you're there. Take it all in stride. Don't get upset with the servers or the people helping you because they are probably strung out as well. It's always a double-edged sword for these cities because, of course, there's a big economic benefit to having so many visitors, but it can be a lot of strain on the local resources. So be respectful, be a great guest, and have some sympathy for the people who are taking care of you. But Los Mambos is just a wonderful place to walk around and just enjoy the atmosphere and do a lot of shopping. Another thing, this is my best friend or one of my best friends. This is Peter, and he's from Holland. Is make sure you have a drink, have some sangria, have some tapas, just sit and people watch. We are all sitting on Las Ramblas right here, and we and him are just watching the world go by and catching up because we don't see each other in person very often. But you don't want to jam pack your day so much that you can't just sit and enjoy the atmosphere. My bonus tip is about the Sagrada Familia. So this is the kind of mythical cathedral that was being built for over 100 years. I believe they just finished it like 2 years ago. Peter and I went into it, and I think that's where we are. The first mate took the picture before we went in while we were waiting in line. And this is early in the morning, and it was still crazy busy. So you definitely, if this is on your to-do list, and it should be, if it's not, you definitely want to go to their official website and buy tickets first. You do pick the date and you do pick the time of entry. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get off the ship, store your bags, or figure out whatever your storage logistics strategy is. Give yourself some time to relax and enjoy the atmosphere, and then go to the church. But you definitely want to buy those tickets certainly before day of. Plenty ahead is probably even better. But do that, and everything else is just icing on the proverbial cake. So I hope that this was helpful information for you as you plan your port day in Barcelona. Barcelona is a a really fantastic city. I know I've said it twice. Fantastico? I don't know. My Spanish isn't so great. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or ask the question in the comments. We are happy to help with the information that we know. We visited over 100 ports. So if you have a port you'd like us to share our experiences with next, leave that in the comments as well. We are absolutely open to taking audience suggestions. But have a wonderful time. I'm not going to say fantastic again. If we can do anything else for you, please let us know. Make life a bon voyage and adios.